just messing around with this thing, trying to figure it out. Never bothered to mess with it really before, but I also figure I don't know, start talking about something. What do they call them? Like these video documentaries or whatever, or video journals, stuff like that or whatever. Figure I'll try it for just to see what's going on with it, and I don't know, just talk about some things, I guess, if I can. Oh, by the way, let's see, shout out to the Crumpers, the shirt right here. Uh, KCMO. Hmm. I don't really know what exactly to talk about, but I just have some roundabout ideas. Um, but I guess one of the things that really, I guess, hits me or is an issue or whatever you want to call it, like that's on my mind is people that deal with anger or just, I don't know, I guess I want to say anger or negativity and stuff like that. Like, because there's a lot of negativity, a lot of stuff out in the world that's mm, very hurtful. Um, it pushes people over the edge sometimes, where you have some people where they go and they commit suicide. You have people that try to harm other people. Like you get these people that go in and they're shooting up places and killing people, children. I mean, all of this stuff. And I mean, that's very, very deep. A lot of it does root back to anger, but it can even go deeper than that if you really want to get into the spiritual essence and all of that. But I'm not trying to get into that part right now because everybody have their own different beliefs, and I'm not one to push my beliefs on what somebody else may feel or whatever. So I'm not gonna go that deep into that. But I do know that, like, anger, it makes people do, say, and act certain ways a lot of times before they even think. You know, um, anger makes somebody cuss somebody out, call somebody names, you know, things like that or whatever. And I know because I've done it. I've cussed people out. I've called people names. I'm not innocent by any means. You know, um, yes, I do have a mouth on me, but over time I've learned to control it. And it took time for me to do that. It took experiences in life for me to learn to seriously control my mouth. You know, yeah, they say freedom of speech. Yeah, yeah, but sometimes there's a time and a place to say things. You know, um, but some people just don't have that. They don't have it. I know it sounds like I'm just rambling, whatever, but this is also like an introductory test, whatever. I'm just trying to mess around with this thing, but also just talk about some things that do be on my mind. Um, Myself. Okay. At one point in time, and I'm pretty sure, like, the KC dance scene, they know that I've had a temper. I'm like I'm a happy guy. I love laughing, joking, clowning, all of that. But I'm also not so much anymore. But I used to be quick to jump to a defensive mode, and not even just about me, but about the ones I care about. Friends, family, you know, significant other, stuff like that. But where does that anger get you? Sometimes, yes, it's good for an adrenaline, boost if you're in a situation where, yeah, you got to fight your way out of. Okay. But it's not always good to react, you know what I'm saying, to certain situations. being emotional. Sometimes you got to be logical before going into that emotion, you know. Um, Over the years, I've done that. I've been more logical rather than emotional. Then there's times where I've been emotional rather than logical, you know. And I found it better. Yeah, it's better to be logical. Think about stuff, you know, before you go and be emotional here and there, because you may turn around and say some things that you don't really mean to say, you know. And you can't take it back. Once it's out there, you can't take it back, you know. So sometimes it's best to just stop and think before you turn around and act, you know. I've struggled with my anger for a little bit, and I realized that, and I actually went to go and start talking to people about it, like, you know, what can I do about it, you know, to try and help me to where I can control it, because there's time my mouth, whew, I would say things and wouldn't care. I would not care how a person feel. I would not care how mad they would. I wouldn't care. Wouldn't care at all. No filter. Nothing was off limits. I didn't care if, say for example, and you know, I'm not particularly one to speak ill on, you know, people with handicaps, but if you crossed me and you had one, I used it. Like, I talked about it. Doesn't matter, you know. I didn't care if it hurt your feelings or not. Did not care. I didn't care. I would talk about your family. I would talk about whatever situation you in. Like, I did not care at all. Period. So I had to learn, you know, like, whoa, come on, Roman, you got to chill a little bit on that. Like, you can't walk around like that, because one, like, a lot of people would think that I'm always angry. No, I'm not always angry. I just have no filter. But I've started constructing one. I'm under construction. So there's some things like I'll stop, like, okay, ooh, whew, I better not come off and say that, like, you know, and it's not because I'm scared, because that's not the case. But in order to better myself in that situation, it's like, okay, ooh, that may not be good to say. That may not be good to say, you know. I'm getting older, so it's like, ooh, nah, but not, you know, I want to be mellow. I want to be chill. I want to be happy, you know, like that kind of, that's how I want to be. Out here just ripping into people because I just feel like whatever, that's not happiness, you know. I mean, now if I was on stage and a comedian, watch out hecklers, you know, like, oh, you know, but I'm not. It's not what I do. So, you know, but I also found that by me doing that and, you know, taking a step back, it's like, okay, boom, boom, boom. I also notice more how other people do it. And it's like, oh, because there's been things that have been said to me, and I'm like, ooh, whew, just chill, Rome. Don't say it. You know, during my, I guess you want to call it maturity years, you know, like I've learned myself, you know, I did go and seek help, you know, because I'm a veteran. So, you know, and the PTSD thing, all of that, like is there. It's a real thing, you know. They just got a different label on it now. It's called PTSD. Back in the day, whatever used to be called shell shock. I mean, all that kind of. Anyway, you know. I mean, it is like a trauma thing, and it don't necessarily always have to come from some kind of war. It could be some kind of traumatic experience, like stuff like that or whatever. If you don't know, now you know. But I'm sure most of you already know. But like, you know, I went and I talked to, you know, the VA about it and stuff. And, you know, VA, they get a lot of bad reps, you know, but they also have some good stuff there too. It's just how you take it, utilize it, whatever. And I was actually willing to try some medication, you know, to see if it would help. And I can tell you in actuality, yeah, it has helped me. It's helped my mood a lot, you know. I have always been one to overthink things, but a lot of it not in a negative way. Like there's been positive ways and negative ways, you know. Like when I think a lot of times, and I've, you know, even tell pretty much anybody, you know, but I do try kind of instill it in my daughter too. Like, hey, think when you're going through life, you think like a game of chess. Don't think like checkers. Checkers is the now. Like, oh man, I could do this, boom, boom, boom. But chess, you look at what your goal is and you work your way backwards. Like, okay, if this scenario happens and this scenario happens, so that's a good thing, but it's also a bad thing because it'll cause you to overthink some situations that's not even in the realm of what the hell is even going on. So, you know, you just have to figure out where that line is, and you know, you have to use that in a positive direction rather than a negative direction. So a lot of times, like, I would do that, but I would think off in the good, but I also would think off in the bad, because I've also learned growing up, you know, it's, you know, was it prepare for the worst and hope for the best, or something like that, or whatever. And I would do that, which is helpful, but at the same time, it's not, because you're always expecting something to fail. You know, if it like goes over, then that's what you're looking at. It's like, oh man, this is gonna fail, but I gotta make sure I have this for that. But so it's a balance, and you have to learn how to balance that. You know. And then that stuff will take you on an emotional roller coaster. You be up, you be down, you be down, you be up, you know, every which way. And it's like, well, whoa, you know. So basically, bottom line is, I went and, you know, I was talking to people about it and stuff up at the VA, and so I went and started trying what was called, they call it sertraline or whatever, but it's like I guess the store brand, whatever it's called, or medical Zoloft, whatever. I guess that's what they call it. But anyway, I'm not saying it's for everyone. I'm not saying, you know, that prayer don't work. I'm not saying any of that, because that's going into the spiritual side, which I said I'm not going to really go into, but right now, or nothing. And this is about the other side or whatever, which, you know, I went and did that. And, you know, even doing that, and people that you're close to and you care about, you know, whatever, and you say, you mention it, like, hey, I done this and whatever, because you figure that they would be supportive or whatever. And at the time, oh, okay, cool. But the minute that something comes up negative or goes wrong, whatever, they throw it against you. That's happened to me. I've seen it happen to other people, you know, and it's like, why ridicule a person because they decided to do that? You know what I mean? For like help in a situation that they feel that they can't handle themselves. And not saying, oh, again, that's a spiritual part over here. Not saying that God can't, whatever, because whatever a person believes in, they believe in. But I'm talking about the person themselves actually taking that initial step and effort to go and do what they feel that they need to do to get maybe a situation under control, and the person get ridiculed for it, or they get talked down on, dogged out, whatever the case may be, you know, and that's not right. That's not right, because then you turn around and you have people, and then they say, well, you know what, screw this, and then they go and commit suicide, or they go and they shooting up schools, shooting up airports, Las Vegas, all of that kind of stuff. You know, it's a balance. It's a balance, and I will say, if you have a person like that, you know, that's in your life or whatever, and they do seek that, and they are on their medication or whatever, you're like, don't knock them, don't dog them, don't make fun of them, don't dog their situation they're in, because you just may be that only person they have that's they're confiding in or whatever for some positivity. Shouldn't knock them because you get mad. Shouldn't knock them because you that may not be your belief. You know what I'm saying? It's not right. It's not fair. You know, and what they say, life ain't fair. But how would you feel if that person turned around and the person went off on you because you knocked them trying to do it? Or they're like, oh, well, they look up to you, but then all of a sudden you're knocking them. They're like, oh, well, this person thinks this, that, whatever. And then they just lose it. Because you were that person's only hope. Or you that person's only positive outlook. You know, so I know I just went like, but sometimes that's also how my mind wanders. I have a lot that goes on up there just all the time, and sometimes it's difficult to deal with and process, and sometimes it's not. It just all depends on the day, I guess. But like, I know things with certain people out there are deep rooted, and like that's a real issue. It's a real issue, you know, and it falls under mental health, if you know the medical term for it, whatever label umbrella you want to put it under. But you know, it's out there. Another thing that really, and it just popped in my head, like I said, just a lot of stuff, but like, I just saw the movie Joker, and I've seen certain things said about it here and there, you know, are they glorifying mental health? No, it's, if you actually seen the movie, and like, granted, yes, Joker is one of my favorite DC villains. Actually, he is my top favorite DC villain, always have been. But they really never had a decent backstory. But then after watching it, it's like, whoa, that's crazy. You get certain situations like that, and not saying that everybody don't turn to a Joker, but the ordeals that he went through, those life problems that hit him, he was off his meds because they cut the funding, all of that. I mean, sometimes people just, they don't know how to deal. You know, it's a real thing that's out there. You know, people that have problems and issues and stuff, and they don't know how to cope with it and deal with it. And anger is one of them. Anger is definitely one of them. And I don't know, like there's so much that I want to talk about and say, but I can't formulate the words right now because there's so much that's going through my mind. So like, this is just a beginning or first video. If I do more, I don't even know really. But I don't know, there's just a lot that's just like on my mind, and I don't know, I gotta figure out some way to just let it out. Gotta let it out. dance community. A lot, like a lot that I want to say, and just because I just see and hear certain things, it's like, oh my goodness, like, but at the same time, it's like, well, what can one person do? What can one person say? Negative stuff, positive stuff, and that's with everyday life. You just got to know how to deal with it, how to handle it, uh, the best way, positive way that you know how to do it. Not in a negative way, because you get people dead, jail, hurt. We got enough of that. It's time to move in like the other direction. Positive happiness and stuff like that. I made this post on Facebook, and I did it out of just fun, but it was one saying, in one word, what do people think about you, or something like that, or describe you in one word or something. And I know it was two of them that stuck out, and one of them said happy and one of them said peaceful or something like that. And it really made me think, like, I guess I'm not doing that bad of a job, because people think that that's my whole thing, like, all the time, and it's like, whoa, I guess I'm doing pretty good. Because there has been a lot of times to where I've not been happy, not been totally happy, not been totally peaceful, but it also, I guess, gave me strength, because if I'm walking and I'm wearing that smile, having a good time, enjoying myself, joking and laughing, that means that I'm doing something right. I put it, like on my shoulders, and like, hey, I got this. But sometimes we don't have it, and there's people out there that can't do that too. So, I'm not saying I'm the strongest. I'm not saying I'm the best at it, but I've done that on my own, in that, in that sense, to where I'm not going to try and let this destroy who I am. I'm not going to let this destroy my positivity, and there's a lot of people out there that will try and kill your positivity. There's this one guy I used to work with, and he used to always say, don't let nobody take your joy. Don't let nobody take your joy. And I still remember that to this day. And it was a long time ago he said that. And there's people out there who would really try to take my joy. And sometimes it got to the point where they conquered it. They took it, but I had to take it back. So, if anybody is out there like that, like trying to take your joy from you, don't let nobody take your joy. Don't fall or succumb to that anger that'll just like take you down that wrong path. And speaking of that, remind me of Star Wars. That's like a good analogy of that. If you listen to the stuff that Yoda said, and then you look at Anakin, it's like Anakin was good, but all that dark stuff just overwhelmed him, and then he wound up being Darth Vader. So, sometimes you'll have those kind of days where you're going to feel like Anakin, but you don't want to turn into Vader, although Vader was badass. But anyway, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want to go into that, that void sometimes, because then sometimes you just can't come back, if you have anger problems and stuff, yeah, they have anger management. By the way, I took anger management more than once, more than twice. It gave me some tools, but obviously it wasn't one of the things for me. So, I had to go beyond that, and yeah, I'm saying this and I'm admitting it, like, that's what I had to do. But I didn't go to drinking. I didn't go to doing drugs, illegally. I didn't do any type of like bad habits. I tried to do positive things. Yeah, my dancing, I just wanted to learn. Constantly learning. It didn't matter what it was, whether I was good at it or not. I just looked at it as an outlet. I still do. You know, sometimes when those you hear people say, you know, music saved my life or hip hop saved my life, those things are right. They're true. They're correct. Like it can. It can. I know because it's done it to me. You know, um, drawing. You know, yeah, I've long since sat down and just dedicated to drawing. Haven't done that in a while, but I'll dabble here and there, whatever, you know. But that was another thing. Another thing that I am notorious for is playing my Call of Duty. Yes, I play Call of Duty and I be smashing it, but it's also an outlet. At least when I'm sitting there doing that, I'm not out taking my anger out on someone. You know what I'm saying? I'm not. I'm. You know what? This is what I'm doing. And also keep me to where people can't be like, oh man, you know I saw Romeo. No, you didn't, because I'm at home playing my game like a little nerd. Yep. So I'm doing that, taking out my frustrations. You know, doing my dancing, taking out my frustrations. You know, you take it, any type of anger, you take it and you expel it in a positive way. You know, uh, I have a couple, you know, friends that done that. You know, like have taken medication or whatever, and some of them it worked for them, some of it didn't. But you know, I actually had to think back on that, like, well, dang, you know, will it help? Won't it? Whatever, you know, like, but I had to make decisions for myself. You know, I get really mellow when I take it. My mood is mellow, like right now I'm mellow. Um, like say if something makes me angry, it'll make me angry here, but I can't feel it. Like it's not one of those, ah man, you know, no. I'm like, yo, that's really messed up. I don't know if no kids can be watching, so I'm trying to refrain from so much swearing, but you know, but like for real though, it's like that's messed up. And I know it's something that will make me mad. I know it's something that's gonna piss me off. I know it's something that, you know, I'm gonna be like, you son, but that's all up here. It actually gives me enough filter to be like, is it really worth that much anger? You know, or it gave me just enough to control what I might say. Now, anything happy, funny, whatever, oh, that busts through. Like, it's no cap on that. It's like I'm laughing. I'm having, just cracking up, joking. It could be the smallest, silliest thing, but if I find it humorous, it's coming out. So, you know, it's a good thing for me. You know, now I have that. Plus, yeah, I do pray and I do talk to God and stuff. But again, I said that's the spiritual side. I'm not forcing that on anyone. What your belief is your belief, and you do you in that. You know, but anger, you know, it is an issue, and it can be from the smallest thing to the largest, grandest thing out there. You know, anger will maneuver a person if they don't know how to control it. But yeah, I'm out. I know this was like hella long, but I just had to get, I guess, some things off my mind and out there while I was testing out this thing to see if it really actually worked or how to work it and all of that, because I'm not really always on media and all that stuff, unless I'm trying to listen to some music, to be honest. Every now and again on Facebook, you know, or FaceTiming with my grandkids. So, everybody, have a great day. Oh, ESPN. But you have a great day. And remember, don't let anger take you over. Because if anger takes you over, then it's over.